Oh, here it goes, and welcome to the 197th episode of Throwback Hoops. Woody V is on the microphone. Please follow the show on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. And as always, I'm joined by my main man, Robert Clayton.
What's up, Woods? Good to be back. Plenty happening in the world of basketball as always. Apologies if my laptop's making a bit of noise. I know some people have picked up on this before, but probably need to look at upgrading this laptop. But great to be back and kick it with you for another week, man.
No worries, man. I can hear you fine. And I got to give a shout out to our boy, the Sydney Sea King, who is at the Florida LSU game today, and he gave a shout out to me and you, and sent us some photos from his experience at the event, and it seemed like he was having a great time, and I actually got to watch the game today. I think it's something you and me got to do a little bit more of, watch a little bit more college ball, right?
Hey, he's getting a lot of shout outs lately. Hopefully he doesn't start getting a big head, but shout out to you, Sid.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. So let's get, he got a new jersey today as well, right? A Florida jersey.
No, that one's like, he did, he did. It was a condom one, wasn't it?
I think so, right.
Nice.
Well, speaking of jerseys, talk to me about your jersey. What you got today?
Well, I think I'm actually rocking the same team as last week, which wasn't actually planned. It's strange it's worked out that way, but I'll stand up and show you who I'm rocking today.
All right, so for those who can't see, Robbie is rocking the Utah Jazz number 27, Rudy Gobert. Sacre bleu.
That's nice. It's kind of ironic given that Minnesota played in Utah today, right? So it was Rudy Gobert against his old team. But yeah, funny thing, Woods, I plan on wearing this one. I swore this was a white jersey I had. I'm looking in the cupboard, I'm like, no, it's blue. But anyway, a little bit on Mr. Gobert. So this is the blue Adidas Utah Jazz jersey. The Stifle Tower, as he's known, was drafted out of France by the Jazz at pick 27 in the 2013 NBA draft. Now, Woods, you'll probably remember the 2013 NBA draft was that shocking one, the infamous draft with Anthony Bennett at pick number 1. So Anthony Bennett, probably a lot of people have completely forgotten about him, right?
Daly's rookie year as well, I think.
Oh, okay, sounds right. Yeah. So Gobert's played with the Jazz and Wolves. Honestly, he may go down as one of the best late first-round picks in NBA history by the time he retires, with a list of accolades as long as his arms, Woods, including a 3-time NBA All-Star, 1 All-NBA second team, 2 All-NBA third teams, an amazing 8-time All-Defensive Team member, including 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. So, man, that's just amazing. And obviously he's had some good moments in the international thing as well for the French national team. So, he's also led the NBA in rebounds and blocks during his career. So, and as I said, some medals with that French national team. So, really good career so far. He's still playing pretty well. I think he's still been pretty useful this year for the Timberwolves. Maybe one knock on his career so far, Woods, and I'll get you to maybe speak on this, is his lack of playoff success. How have you sort of seen the Stifle Tower's career to date?
Look, I wouldn't say it's lack of success. I mean, Minnesota have made some really deep runs lately, right? I mean, maybe at Utah, that team promised a lot and never fulfilled that potential.
Yeah.
But Minnesota have been solid, right, with Gobert. I'll tell you what, if anyone owned him in fantasy last week, he ruined your free throws, right?
He struggles a bit like that, doesn't he?
But, man, he's been highly successful at the international level, as you said, representing his nation, as well as in the NBA, one of the greatest defensive players of our era.
Yeah.
And I really love that relationship that Mike Conley, him and Joe Ingles have had for all these years, right? They're back together playing in Minnesota now after all those years in Utah. And I think, we saw that potential in that 2013 draft with Gobert. We thought he'd be a good backup, big off the bench, that was going to be able to be a good rim runner.
What value to get, though, from that pick, right? Pick 27 in that draft, where the number 1 pick of the draft hasn't been in the league for, 7 years or something? So,
you
pretty
never
crazy, isn't
it? That this would be his ceiling.
Absolutely. And look, interesting, I know he's obviously a Minnesota Timberwolf now, but his old team, Utah Jazz, I'm really enjoying that team. They're a team I quite... Keontae is just killing it, isn't he? I believe that was their first win today without Lauri Markkanen, I think, if I heard that correctly. So, they're a fun team to watch. Cousin Walter doing his thing there, and Big Nurkic put up a triple-double today in that game. So they're a fun team to watch. I think they might spoil a few playoff chances for teams later in the year.
Ace Bailey today as well, showing some
he was good.
Right?
Yeah. No, definitely impressive. So a bit of a shout out to Rudy Gobert, aka the Stifle Tower. So,
and what, Utah Jazz 2 weeks in a row?
2 weeks in a row for Utah. So look, I won't wear another Utah one next week, or just the way it worked out with this one there. But it's a nice one to wear anyway. As I say many times when I get a jersey Woods, I still have the tags inside when I put it on. So these Adidas ones, I like the fit of them. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Me too.
All right, do you want me to take it away with card of the week?
Sure thing, brother.
Well, if you remember rightly, Woods, exactly a week ago, I messaged our group chat. I talked about someone that I said, this guy is going to be an all-star in the next 5 years. And you guys probably laughed a little bit at the time when I said it. 2 days after I messaged and talked about this guy, he had a career-defining game for the Cleveland Cavs in an amazing ESPN televised game over the weekend that got them the win over Philadelphia. So I'm talking about none other than Jaylon Tyson, right? So, yeah, exactly. So this is a guy I'm high on at the moment, Woods. He's definitely going to be a jersey I have to get. So the card I'm showing, it's a Panini Prism 2024 rookie card PSA 9. It's called a Blue Ice card, and it's numbered 71 of 125. So I reckon this one over the last couple of weeks and the way he's playing what I got, really nice looking card, a bit of a sparkle to it there. So, yeah, someone that I've just seen. I don't know, and I said to you when I joked about the chat, I picked the Jaylon Johnson thing right on his rookie year. I didn't pick the Taurean Prince thing right, and for those that haven't heard that, I said very early on that I thought Jaylon Johnson would be a future star and an all-star. Unfortunately, I also said the same about Taurean Prince, who's probably never averaged more than about 12 points a game. But nevertheless, Jaylon Tyson, so a guy that actually played for 3 college teams. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. So started off with Texas, and there was some rumours that the coach had sort of made some racist comments there, and he left and went to Texas Tech. He then finished off in Cal before being the 20th pick in that 24 draft to the Cavs. So he's been starting most of the year for them and really playing well. I mean, just checked out his numbers at forwards. He's averaging 13, 5 and 2, shooting 52% from the field and 47% from 3. So that's as efficient as you can get for a sophomore player, right?
Yeah, for sure, Robert. And I've looked up a lot of these statistics that you mentioned. But for the casual fan that hasn't seen him play, what stands out in his game, right? What makes him have that star, potential for you, right?
I think definitely a smart IQ. That's something that stands out to me. A bit of a two-way player as well. He's a long guy. He can play, probably a good 2 positions, maybe guard 3 positions there. But he's pretty versatile on offense as well. We saw that game-winning play that I mentioned in that ESPN game against Philly. He basically drove in. He had 39 points, so he drove in. Everyone in the whole stadium and watching TV thought he was going to shoot it, and he made the pass for Evan Mobley, who got a dunk under the rim that was the winner and winning sort of points for the game there. So I just like that he's a versatile player. He can hit the outside shot. We've seen him hit a few big threes in games there. Very efficient, as you saw with those numbers. And someone to watch. That's my little out there pick for someone that may be a sneaky all-star in 5 years. Of course, this may be his best ever career year, and people might laugh at me for saying it. But hey, sometimes you've got to make these predictions right. Sometimes you can't be afraid to make them.
No, I don't like that you're going out there and making that. It's all about opportunity sometimes, right?
Yeah.
He earns an opportunity to go to another franchise where he gets more of a, role to show that potential, right?
Yeah. So anyway, nice looking card this one as well, right? So good that it's numbered as well. Always these numbered ones sort of go up a bit in value. So that's his nice rookie card there. And yeah, definitely be a jersey to follow at some stage when I can get one.
All right,
I see you rocking the old Bucks jersey, mate. Yeah.
One you really like, I'm sure.
Yeah, nice. Woods is standing up rocking the number 13. Oh, big dog. Glenn Robinson jersey. Those jerseys that are famous for that massive gap between the top and the Bucks, and at the back, the massive gap between the number, which is funny. But I know we've both got a couple of variations of this jersey, right? So, yeah, a bit of big dog.
And a Bucks one.
Yeah, well, even that jersey alone, I think I've got a Todd Day. I've got a few anyway. But yeah, liking that one.
Oh, Robinson specifically. I think I've got 2. You got a couple as well, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 Hawks Glenn Robinson jerseys, funny enough.
You don't have a Bucks one?
Yeah, I do actually. I've got the green one with the big buck on it. So how I've got 3 Glenn Robinson jerseys is another story. But yeah,
what a legend! So Glenn Allen Robinson Jr. Born in Gary, Indiana. He went to Purdue. You had a storied career at Purdue, actually, right? First pick overall in the '94 draft. Always remember that draft, right? And then he spent the first 8 years with Milwaukee. 2 seasons or 1 season only with us at Atlanta from memory, and then a couple of years at Philadelphia, and then injuries ended his career in San Antonio where he won a championship. And I remember Big Dog, man. What was it, 10 million for 10 years or something like that? He got a contract, and Jason Kidd, Grant Hill, joint rookie of the year that season, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't hear about them as much as we heard about Big Dog leading up to that draft. All we heard about is Glenn Big Dog Robinson, right? Now, I don't think that he fulfilled that potential that we all thought that he would. Like, you saw the journey that Jason Kidd and Grant Hill took, and and how their careers ended up and where Big Dog was. One time, so I'll just read out his accolades for you quickly before I get your opinions, right? So NBA champion in 2005, two-time NBA All-Star in 2000 and 2001 with the Bucks, actually, NBA All-Rookie First Teamer, National College Player of the Year. I've talked about his accolades at Purdue, right? He was a consensus first-team All-American, NCAA scoring champ, Big Ten Player of the Year, two-time first-team All-Big Ten. You know, he was Indiana Mr. Basketball, McDonald's All-American. His accolades go on and on and on. My question to you is, how do you reflect on Big Dog's career, and would you agree with me on that sentiment that he didn't potentially fulfill his potential as much as you would have thought, right?
No, I would. Firstly, he's the father of a past slam dunk competition winner as well, which is pretty cool. He was someone I knew a lot about coming into the draft. That was when they had that really marquee game of the week for college basketball, and those Purdue games that get on a lot. And you just had that real cult following, didn't you? Almost similar to the grandmama thing with Larry Johnson. It was, Glenn Big Dog Robinson. He had the cool nickname, number 13 always looked cool in those jerseys he had. And yeah, look, I think injuries is probably a big factor in what you're saying there, but I think still a pretty decent, to have that 10-year career, be a two-time All-Star, and of course to finish up with a chip there is definitely impressive. But yeah, someone that was, he could score, couldn't he? He had a lot of, and that 2-point scorer as well that we don't see as much now. He's a big sort of beefy guy, but he had some great those baseline moves that he put together and nice sort of sweet-looking stroke and stuff there. But he'd be one of those players, wouldn't he? If he was playing now, he'd absolutely translate his game to the 3 points and a shot there. But yeah, someone I definitely enjoyed, and it's cool to reminisce a little bit about him, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, he kind of had those bad knees, so he went from Atlanta to Philly, and he was still a 16, 17 point per game scorer, right?
Yeah.
Then he came to San Antonio, tried to get 1 year out of those knees. He only played 9 games in that regular season, right? Barely played, but got fit for the playoffs, and Greg Popovich used him in that playoff run, and that was awesome for him to go out like that. He was only 31 years of age when he retired.
He was another one of those guys that throughout his career, I think he thought that defense was that thing that surrounded his house as well. So yeah, he was certainly never known for his defensive capabilities. But yeah, geez, he could put the ball in the basket. And was a fun guy. He used to put bums on seats, as they say, right? He was that sort of guy that people would come to town and want to watch his games live as well as on TV there, for sure.
Absolutely. So he retired in 2005. Meaning that, he was, 2005, he would have been not even 30 by the time his career finished, right?
Yeah,
so,
And what happened to his son? What happened to Big Dog Jr.?
He's playing overseas at the moment, right?
Yeah, his career never quite made it, didn't he? He bounced around. He's one of those guys that won the dunk comp when they weren't getting a lot of marquee names in the dunk comp, which is probably still the way it is now. But yeah, I haven't heard that name for a while either.
Well, I talked to you about that Michigan team recently, right? Tim Hardaway Jr., Trey Burke, Glenn Robinson, Mitch McGarry, and Tim Hardaway Jr. Those 4, right, were on that team together.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And Tim Hardaway Jr. is still in the league now. So
for sure.
All right.
Why is that gap so big between the top of the jersey and the Bucks as well? What's going on there?
I don't know. It's on all of these, right?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, let's get things started with the NBL this week, man. I think let's change it up a little bit, and I want to ask you about HoopsFest, right? So let me just go through HoopsFest and what happened at HoopsFest, the results, right? So everyone played 1 game this week, which was nice.
I like it.
All the WNBL teams played 1 game as well, so people in Perth got to see all the teams at least once. The Kings beat the Bullets, your Wildcats beat the Hawks, the Breakers beat the Taipans, United got a much-needed win against the Jack Jumpers, and then SEM showed why they're a force to be reckoned with come postseason and beat the 36ers. But how did you see the event in total?
No, I like it. I think it's good. And I think I mentioned last week, I feel like, Sydney and Melbourne in particular get a lot of these big things, sport things, concert things, all the things that go on. So it's nice to, my home state to get something like this. And I think they put on a pretty good show there. It's obviously, as you know, Woods, from travelling there recently, it's a lovely city, right? People
love it.
Maybe that haven't been there wouldn't quite realise that. But yeah, I thought they did a good job. I liked the 1 game per team thing. I thought that was quite easy to follow. I'm not quite sure about the crowd numbers. I know they said the numbers were way up from last year, but there did seem to be a lot of empty seats in games. It is a big stadium there, and perhaps maybe they need to bring people down into the to the lower bowl of stadiums to give it a little bit of an aesthetic sort of look there with the fans. But no, I thought it was really good. I wonder if there's some way they can do. Look, maybe not an all-star game in this time, but is there something else they can do at that time? A 3-point comp. It's like we love our 3-point comps. Why could they not do that? Maybe on the Saturday night, before that sort of main event starts, do a 3-point comp and get all the players in, because you're not really risking things there for injuries like you are for dunk comp. So that would be my suggestion for him going forward. But no, otherwise I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, and I feel like it's there to stay, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. You being a Perth boy, and I've got a question later on in true or false, so I won't get into it too much. But obviously, if the event stays in Perth for the years to come, there might be some credence in you going over there and visiting a HoopsFest yourself,
yeah,
right?
No, it'd be definitely nice to do that, wouldn't it? For sure.
All right, man. The next question I got is kind of controversial, right? Allen Iverson. Okay, now he came as an ambassador for the NBL for HoopsFest, right? In Perth, he was maybe present for 10 minutes at each game. He was supposed to commentate, right? Didn't actually fulfill those responsibilities to commentate. Now, when I compare his engagement to that to others who've come over recently as guests of the NBL, I'm talking about the likes of Ray Allen, Scottie Pippen, Kenny Smith, Carmelo Anthony, Dirk Nowitzki, etc.
Yeah.
Do you think he did enough?
No, to be completely honest. I'll say no, and I know he's been copping a bit of flack, and it's still been social media and that today, but are people surprised? Like, it's Allen Iverson. He's never been the most engaging, sort of person with the fans or all the media, as we've certainly seen over the years. So, look, it probably wasn't a big surprise to me. And, look, they obviously paid the guy a lot of money. It was a big name to bring over here. But, I'm hearing he's gone to meet and greet sort of fan events where people have paid $700 to get a photo. And he's basically the person standing, and he doesn't even leave the chair that's a metre behind sort of thing. So,
that was the next thing I was going to say.
But you're right, though, man. He didn't look interested. He was leaving the things early. Came in with his glasses. Probably a pretty good reason, I would have thought, why he had the sunglasses on the same time. Maybe it was a little bit smoky in WA. But I thought it was a pretty disappointing look at someone that the league really. I don't think they'll be thrilled with how it all turned out. And maybe they might sort of pick and choose their player a little bit better next year. Maybe get someone that's just a bit more wanting to be there, and someone a bit more charisma, personality, and someone that's more engaging with the fans, right?
Yeah. So talk to me about that, Kenny Smith. Talk to me about the others that have come over recently, Carmelo, and how they were compared to...
Carmelo was great when he was over here, wasn't he? Just real personality. He seemed like he wanted to be here, he enjoyed to be here. And obviously, these people are coming there because they're getting a check, but you've at least got to put some effort in, right? And it was just disappointing to see that. And I think they could definitely choose the player well. Look, full credit to the NBL for getting someone of the name of Allen Iverson. There's no doubt about that. He's someone still with a massive cult following. I'll say something controversial about Iverson Woods. A little bit overrated in my book for his NBA career. I'll say it. Come hate me if you want, but I always kind of felt a little bit like that with him. But look, there's no doubt he was an amazing player, and he's got some incredible accolades there. But probably just not the best ambassador to come out and help with this NBL HoopsFest.
Well, that cultural icon thing kind of puts him up as a player as well, right? It's kind of a combination of on-court and off-court.
Hey, he would have liked your jersey last week as well, given that he was, I think he was a rookie in that season that Mark Brackey was with the Sixers as well there. So,
for sure. So playing devil's advocate here, I talked to Foxy today, who's his school's out in Campbelltown, and Foxy, great friend of the show, Paul Falk, shout out to you, I know you're listening, and he was rebounding for AI. AI apparently was hosting a camp there. Campbelltown at the school that he's at, and it was a private camp. Actually, they were using the facilities, his facilities. Obviously, they probably paid AI for his services. And Foxy sent me a photo of him rebounding for AI today, right? So I know he might have been paid for it, but at least he made an effort to go out to the communities and do some work there, right?
Yeah, no, fair cool.
And then finally, how much do you think the NBL paid for his services? Give me a number. Throw it out there. 200 grand? $250,000?
Yeah, I was thinking probably more the $250,000 to $1 million. I think I think there would have been a lot of that money coming through the various sponsors and everything else like that would have been involved. But I think at an absolute minimum, $500,000, right? I would have thought an absolute minimum. Okay. Plus they're paying for all these boys to come over here and have a nice holiday and go to the beautiful Rottnest Island and do all these sort of cool things. So pretty nice gig for AI.
I heard he hung out with Nick Nui, your boy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Nice.
All right. Let's move on, man. Okay. Your Perth Wildcats decided to do nothing at the deadline, at the free agent deadline. It's not a trade deadline in the NBL. It's the deadline you need to make a move so that if a player wants to come in, he needs to play the 7 or 8, whatever games it is, to qualify for the postseason, right?
Yeah.
And you decided not to make a move and stick with David Duke Jr. And on what I'm hearing from the Perth Wildcats camp is that injury is not as bad as we thought, and he'll be back sooner rather than later. So let me get your thoughts on what you think about that.
Look, I don't think Wildcats fans are particularly surprised about this. I don't think the team's shown a great deal of interest in spending money and doing some of these things to get the team over the line the last few years. And we saw Adelaide signing John Jenkins and your Kings getting Torrey Craig there. I mean, look, he may be back sooner rather than later, but it still seems like it's going to be a little while there. I don't know why they couldn't have tried to have got a short-term deal. And I was thinking, was it Sykes for Tasmania? And they did that little short-term deal for him when David Johnson went down. So I was thinking, why couldn't they have done something?
TJ Starks.
Yeah, TJ Starks, that's right. Why couldn't they have done something like him? Someone that's in between sort of roles at the moment that's just chilling on their couch. I wonder had it have been a couple of weeks earlier whether Ian Clark would have been a chance, but I think he was pretty committed to going back to Victoria. But that's probably my thought. Could they have not just got someone for a short contract, knowing that they wouldn't be able to play finals, but knowing that we'd still have Duke coming back? So disappointing, honestly. Like I said, with the other team spending money and I know they'll sort of back themselves and say they won last weekend and Henschel and Pepper are both playing well. But look, if you want to compete with some of these big teams, especially the teams that are spending tremendous amounts of money this year, like Adelaide and and your Kings as well, you've got to do these sort of things. So I was pretty disappointed they didn't, in all honesty.
And look, let's speak about Jaron, really, that injury.
Yeah. Well, they knew that happened as well, so surely that's even more reason was that they should have maybe gone out and done something, right? Yeah.
Totally. So
because he's gone for the whole season, right?
You really literally don't have a starting point guard on that roster, right?
Yeah, Christian Doolittle. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see how that plays. Despite all of
that,
am
I right there? Do you?
I'm totally with you, man.
Because there was talks of Brandon Knight, like a guy that had a really solid NBA career there, and maybe if it wasn't someone like him, doesn't have to be a gun. I said all along last year, it could be, or sort of last week, it could be that NBL 1 quality type import, someone that can come on and fill that position. We know point guards and centers are the hardest positions to fill, but it felt like they could have done something here.
I mean, just someone who can initiate the offense.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see how it plays out. Despite all of that, it was a really good win for you boys on the weekend against the Hawks, who actually came out there and fought, right? So, all right, let's move on then. Looks like Will Magnay is out for the season. So what I want to ask you is how does this impact Tassie? And does this open the door for, say, a New Zealand Breakers team or even an Illawarra team to make a run at that 6th seed?
Yeah, well, New Zealand had their injury news as well, didn't they? With their import out for the year, they hasn't really got much. Rob Baker's out, so that didn't get as much attention. And look, if right what we're hearing, they won't be able to replace him, will they? Given that in terms of if they want him to be able to play playoffs. Look, I think Tasmania will probably still hold on to that spot. I think Josh Bannon will have a bit more responsibility and be okay. Your boy and guy I've commentated before, and Archer Woodhill might have a few minutes to play there. But look, it was sad news to see, wasn't it? It didn't really look like much. A fractured toe, I believe. It wasn't, at least it's not something you can say, oh, that's that real injury history with him. It was a bit of a freak injury that occurred there. And a shame to see. I think he's been healthy for quite a bit of the season and playing some good basketball. So, yeah, it's a shame to see. But look, our guys will step up there, right? They are going to be a little bit undersized without him. And, I think a lot of the pressure will go into Josh Bannon. But to answer your question, I think they'll probably still make it over New Zealand and Illawarra. New Zealand have just so up and down, and Illawarra, I think they're too far gone now to challenge for that 6th position.
Yeah, and they're going to have to rely on Majok Deng a lot now, I think. Right? With Jack jumpers. And you're right, with Illawarra, I just think it's far gone. And Rob Baker...
And do they regret now, Woods, Tassie, having the shorter import trio that they've got? We mentioned it hasn't been done often, a 1, 2 and a 3. Any regrets for them now that they actually did that?
Well, Archie Woodhill is the only legitimate centre left on the roster, right?
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I think they have to start Majok Deng at the 5, and Woodhill is going to have to play significant minutes, and that could be tough against some of the. Looking at their stretch down the end stretch, they're playing a lot of teams that have some centres, right? So
for sure.
But I think you're right. They'll hold on to that 6th seed, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do some predictions for the round ahead, shall we?
Big round, isn't it? Every team's playing
twice.
A lot of games. It's going to be one of those ones that, man, it's going to be hard for me especially to watch every minute of these games. But
the game's tip off in 2 minutes. Have you set your
I have, I still hate that format, but I have set it. But I know you'll be going tomorrow, and then I'll be playing a lovely 10 o'clock game tomorrow night as my Wildcats run. I'll have to come home and watch that. But, yeah, a lot of games going on.
All right, so let's bring it up here. So tonight we've got United and Bullets.
Yeah, I think United might do that one pretty easy. And, they're sort of showing a little bit more form. Maybe that was a bit of a turnaround for them last week, going on the road, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse Edwards and him staying out of foul trouble, staying on the floor is a big part of them being successful, I think. Right?
Yeah.
All right, SEM Phoenix versus Breakers. Breakers showed something. Since that 40-point loss to Sydney, they've showed something, right? And played with some heart. But I can't see them competing against SEM.
No, that was a great sign for the Phoenix to get that big win against Adelaide without Sobey playing there. So they're playing so good at the moment. It's hard to go past them for probably both of their games. They've got a couple of easier games, maybe you should say, for this on this schedule.
Yep, and then Kings and Jack Jumpers.
So you got 2 home games to go to this weekend.
Yeah,
so you'll be there for both games.
I'll be going to both, man. Yeah,
two pretty solid games as well, I've got to say. So look, I'll certainly be picking Kings for this first one against an undermanned Jack Jumpers team. I'm sure you're the same, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think obviously with Magne being out, it just that would have been a huge advantage against the Kings with our lack of big man depth, right? So I think the Kings should take that. All right, Wildcats versus Taipans. We'll just move on. Right?
So what will Adam Ford be complaining about this week? 'Cause he's he's got it almost. It's not a good look, is it? Even these Cairns Taipans fans are saying, no, it's time for a change here. This guy just is blaming everything on everyone else. So, yeah, I think Wildcats should do this one pretty easy on Friday night. Or Thursday
it's very
night,
polarising. Some people love Ford, some people don't, man. Right?
I feel like more people are starting to just get a little bit turned off by the whole Adam Ford experience now. And, geez, he's just relentless with the complaining this season, is he? He really is.
Okay, let's move on then. The Breakers versus the 36ers. This is a game that the 36ers would be a little bit scared about, right? Especially the Breakers can play with the heart that they've been playing with. If they get
it's a fairly tough road double, isn't it? Going across the ditch and then playing against Sydney. 2 days later? So look, I think the 36ers will be right, but you could be right. This could be a closer one than what people think.
Yep. And then SEM versus the Taipans.
Yeah, SEM by a lot.
All right. I agree with you on that. So the Taipans are going to take the double loss. They're playing on Thursday and Saturday, 9:30 on Thursday and 5:30 on Saturday. Right?
Yeah.
All right, Jack Jumpers versus Hawks. I'm going to go the Hawks in this one, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the Hawks win this one, are you still giving them a chance? Given that we're picking Tassie to lose to Sydney, they could potentially go 0-2. Hawks could go 2-0. Yeah, 2. They got Brisbane there, so could be a big swing weekend for the Hawks, wouldn't it? I'm sure they know this too.
I'm thinking the Hawks or the Breakers have a little window here to jump ahead of the Jack Jumpers.
Did I hear their import had COVID and didn't play last week as well?
Yeah.
Is that thing still around?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Quinton Jackson, what's his name? I can't remember. QJ Peterson.
That's the one.
QJ Peterson.
We got that.
Right? Yeah. Okay, Kings versus 36ers. What a blockbuster game on Sunday afternoon.
Hey, you get your favourite time slot as well. You get the 2:30 rather than the 4:30, which I know you're a fan of. Go for lunch, maybe a bit of a steak, and then go and watch that. So,
in fact, I had an event on, and I was going to give them my tickets for this game, but that event got postponed to the week after, so I'm going to be able to go. Yeah?
Very handy. Oh, mate, this is easily game of the round, this one. So looking forward to watch both these games on Sunday afternoon. But yeah, what a good game to go to. I'll give a prediction. I'm going to... Look, I've been picking Sydney way too much lately, but I'm going to maybe say Adelaide get this one. Because they don't have Bull Quall to sort of, harass Bryce Cotton the whole game, which could be a pretty big outfit.
Yeah, but they got Torrey Craig, man. I'm going to go.
They do, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
All right. Wildcats versus United. Man, this is hectic. This game's going to have a lot of implications, man. So
I mean, bit of trouble for United, right? So HoopsFest, and they've flown back, and they're flying back. Obviously, there's a few games between the Wednesday and the Sunday, but and probably putting my Homer hat on and saying Perth. I think this could be a pretty tight game, but hopefully my boys can get across the line.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be with you on that, man. Wildcats at home. United had an up and down recent history, right? So you've got to give the Wildcats a good chance in that game at home. All right, Bullets versus Hawks. You got to
it's a rare Monday night game, right? Yeah. So I mean, I think the Hawks have to win this one. Brisbane's kind of one of those teams. I feel like they're going to be playing with nothing to lose for the rest of this year, so they may just play loose and free and get some upsets. But look, the Hawks really have more to play for in this game, don't they?
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm going to be with you there on the Hawks. Yeah.
Nice, big round.
Okay, so Robbie, let's turn our attention to the NBA. A lot going on in the league. First of all, let's talk about Jimmy Butler, man. Torn ACL, out for the season, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what does this mean for Jimmy Butler? I mean, at 36, 37, I think he's around that age. Coming back from a torn ACL is not going to be easy. He's going to come back in a year or whatnot. What does the future hold for him, for starters?
Yeah.
And then secondly, what does this mean for the Warriors dynasty and Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and their hopes that making a run this postseason.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Look, as you know, Wood's not one of my favourite players in the league, but you don't want to see anyone go down with this sort of injury. And Golden State have been playing some pretty good ball of late as well. I think they'd won, like 12 out of their last 15, and we're starting to make a little bit of noise in the West. So this is a really big loss. He's had a really sort of almost under the radar, sneaky good season, hasn't he, Jimmy Butler? Two-way player, quite efficient with his numbers and everything as well. Perhaps playing a little bit more minutes than he needed. Not sure if that's contributed to it, but that's maybe help when the coach clearly has a grudge against one of the players there, so that's probably something we'll speak about more. But yeah, it was disappointing to see in terms of how they go. Look, I think they'll give some of these young guys some more minutes. I don't think they're going to throw away the season just based on this news. And look, Butler will be back, but you just wonder whether he will come back the same player that he left, right?
No way, man. Coming back in his late 30s from that torn ACL.
Yeah.
How much does he really have left in the tank when he comes back? I wouldn't say that much, right? 1 or 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that he gets a good farewell out of the game. But he's such a big part of what the Warriors are doing this year on both ends of the floor, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know Kerr likes to play 10, 11 guys. So there's guys who've had court time that can come and fill that void to a certain extent. But the guy I want to turn your attention to is Jonathan Kuminga. And
I thought you were going to talk about Buddy Hield after his big game today, and that loss to Toronto, wasn't it? Buddy put up 20+ game, but yeah, let's talk some Kuminga.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, Austin Rivers came out recently in the media and said this is just ridiculous. This guy's a 20-point per game scorer in the NBA. He's a unique talent, one that doesn't come around very often. And he's sitting at the end of the bench. He's getting DNP CDs. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's crazy, right? A guy with this kind of talent. And I think he got to play, I haven't checked the box score today, but Kerr was forced to play him today.
Give me a comment. It's like I said about him. I honestly think that he may have said something that there was kind of no coming back from to Kerr. Yeah, there had to be some reason for that he hadn't played for a month. Something personal, something spiteful. Who knows what it was? But look, you're putting up those numbers. He played today. I think a few people will be reaching out and trying to add them to their fantasy team. So whether he stays, and this is probably good for Golden State because they can kind of feature him a little bit in these coming weeks and then 100% trade him, right? So his value might actually go up, which is probably a good thing for them right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The value going up is going to be important for the Warriors because now with Jimmy Butler out, if they want to get something for Kuminga at the deadline, they can maybe still be competitive, right?
Yeah.
In that postseason. So it's going to be important to showcase his talents and what he's got, right? And I think that's good. So just look, 145 to 127 today. So the Warriors gave up 145 points. And Kuminga had 21 minutes, 7 from 10 from the field, 1 from 3 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 20 points, as you said. So
I think Moses Moody's another guy to look out for as well. He's had some pretty solid games, shooting the ball quite well. Almost seems to be a little bit more unselfish, I reckon, when he's out there. He doesn't get as many shots up as he perhaps could, but he's another guy you can look out for as well. So, look, they do have some younger guys in that team that can maybe fill the void a little bit, but it'll be interesting times in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, for sure. Melton coming back from the injury.
He's been all right too.
Right? Yeah. All right, so let's turn our attention to the NBA Player of the Week. Who's the NBA Player of the Week, Robbie? Who is he?
I'd normally just say Vik Krejci with these random situations. I'm not sure.
It is Peyton Watson.
Wow,
right?
Okay.
And I've been telling you for a long time. This cat can play, right?
Yeah.
But never did I think that he would be this good. I thought he'd be a solid starter in this league, right?
Yeah.
Now you've gone out, thrown out all your all-star predictions. What's his name? I mean,
Jaylon Tyson.
Yeah, I know his name. I'm just asking you to repeat it, right? I know his name. Torian Prince, whatever. I talked about SGA when he was in the Clippers. You had JJ, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying right now, right? First time all-star prediction, Peyton Watson, right?
So you go in the next 5 years like I did with Tyson,
I'm going
right?
in the next 2-3 years, bro.
Ooh,
right?
Okay. All right.
Okay, over his last games, 8 games, he's averaging 24.3 points per game. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1.5 blocks, and shooting 54% from the field, right?
Yeah.
And he can knock down that long ball. He's been given this opportunity now. Aaron Gordon's been out. Christian Brown has been out, right? The Joker has been out. Am I just seeing things, man, or
No,
are you feeling me here? Right?
No, I'm definitely with you on that one. Look, I added him I know we don't want to bore people with our fantasy teams, but I added him on at least a couple of my teams, maybe in the last couple of months there, and he's been really good. I'm just sort of watching, every week he seems to be putting up more, and we talked a little bit about what I said about Tyson as well. He's definitely got that two-way game, right? He's, like you said, 1 steal and 1.5 blocks in the last 8 games is huge there. He's athletic. He's an improved three-point shooter. I think he wasn't maybe hitting the shot with that consistency early on in his career that he's hitting now, and we see these guys as they work on their shooting form and get in the gym. He's that guy that you want probably in the corner. Saw him hit a couple from that spot there today, but no doubt about it. It's a good prediction you got there, Woods. He's been great. I hadn't realised he was Player of the Week, so that's a good surprise there. But no, he's keeping him in it a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure, man. And think about this Denver team. Yeah, he can't hit that corner three. You saw that today, man. So, when they get all their guys healthy, Jamal Murray's playing the best basketball of his life. People are going to be scared of this team. Yeah, right?
For sure. I think the Joker's not far off coming back as well. From what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right, so let's move to Portland, right? I want to talk about 2 guys that are on 2-way contracts right now. Caleb Love and Sidi Sissoko, right?
Who?
Sidi Sissoko. I'm not talking about Caddy Sissoko from the WNBL. I'm talking about Sidi Sissoko from the NBA at the Portland Trail Blazers, right?
Yes.
Now, these 2 guys have just got an opportunity because of injury, right? Caleb Love especially has been a revelation with Holiday being out, right? Scoot Henderson has been out for the whole season.
Yeah.
And over the last 2 weeks, he's putting up 15, 4, and 4. I mean, what I want to ask you is, how does his rise impact someone like Scoot Henderson when he returns to the lineup? And should they turn both these guys, their 2-way deals, to full-time deals? Because I think it was 50 games or 53 games. They can play on 2-way deals. If they want to play any more than that, they've got to be turned into full-time. I think it's 55, actually, from memory.
Yeah. Well, firstly, the Scoot one's interesting. Still hasn't played a game yet this season, and it almost seems to be forgotten about, doesn't he? Portland are a fun watch, as I mentioned before, and I know you're obviously a fan of Caleb Love. I'm going to take it away and talk a little bit more about Sidi Sissoko.
Yeah, talk to me, man.
I've been watching this guy play. As I said to you, he's one of the more darker skinned players in the NBA, isn't he? We've got a little bit of a background on him as well, Wood. So he was one of those unusual Spurs draft picks a few years ago, and he was essentially a throw-in in a trade with Sacramento that saw De'Aaron Fox go to the Spurs. After that, he was then traded to the Wizards, who waived him. Before the Blazers obviously saw some talent and signed him to a 2-way contract close to 12 months ago. So a fun fact, Woods, his father Yaya represented Senegal at the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow. So how's that a bit of a deep dive?
In what sport?
In basketball.
Basketball. Okay,
so obviously he's French. His dad's Senegal. We know there's a big connection with the 2 countries there. So I thought that was a pretty cool bit of background about him. I've been enjoying the way he plays there. He's very long, for his position, everything else like that. You're probably a little bit more onto Caleb Love than I am, but look, there's no doubt that both these guys are just showing you, right? You just got to take these opportunities. 2-way players with a team, with injuries in the backcourt, and they're playing really great basketball.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying Caleb Love's going to be a superstar. He's like that Colin Sexton type of guy, right? Where Sissoko's got a high motor, right? He's got that give a damn factor that I talk about, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to have a long career in this NBA, man.
And he was one of those guys, Sissoko. He was playing international and being scouted by teams in Spain and across Europe when he was 13 years of age. So he's no sort of stranger to that international spotlight and everything like that. So he's a fun watch.
Yeah, thanks, man. And we like a deep dive on something like a little bit left field, right? So it's really nice to talk to you about some of these guys trying to make their way in the NBA. So thanks for your thoughts, Robbie.
That's a segue for another deep dive on another NBA player, right?
For sure, man. And before I get into that deep dive, I want to talk about Jock Landale and his appearance recently on the Howie Games podcast. If anyone doesn't know, Mark Howard is a great journalist who does cricket, he does AFL, right? And Howie has this podcast called the Howie Games Podcast, and recently he had Jock Landale on there. It's just a great listen about Jock Landale's journey to where he is today. So if you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it. Awesome, right? So let's get into it about Jock Landale, right? I know you've been speaking to me offline on various group chats about his great play in Memphis this year.
Yeah.
I want you to go into that a little bit and talk to me about his progression and how impressed you've been with his his season so far. I'm going to bring up a little graphic on the screen as well while you do that, Robbie. So take it away, my brother.
Well, firstly, he's really fit in well into this role, hasn't he? Someone that has bounced around a little bit. This is his fourth team, I believe, now. But I just like the way he's playing at both ends. He's a veteran presence now. He's not some 24-year-old. He's 30 years of age. He's played all around the world. And it's great to see him find a home and just get a lot of opportunity in Memphis. We've seen a lot of injuries with their big men, whether it be Zach Edey or guys like that, and opportunity for him. He's someone that's just a reliable player. He can hit the threes. He's a decent rebounder, decent defender. So, yeah, look at those stats. 11 and 6 in 22 minutes a game. He's really efficient there. And I guess you want to compare him to some of the big Aussies that have played in the NBA, right?
Yes, I do. Before I just get into that, just to all our viewers, just look at those stats and those comparisons online. You did mention he's 30 years of age, right? Now?
Yeah.
And I just want to read a quote to you. I love my quotes lately, right?
You do.
Robbie?
Yeah.
So this is a quote from Jock Landale, right? And he said, "Opportunity is everything. Coach Thomas Isalo has provided me with such, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity of playing alongside guys like Santi Aldama. And I think I always had the confidence in the fact that I was going to be able to provide this kind of impact off the bench or even in a starting role. I'm now 30 years of age, and to be able to do this and provide impact and probably the best year of my career has been reinvigorating, and I always knew I'd be able to do so if given the opportunity." So it's kind of, you talk to me about him being 30 years of age, and this quote kind of rolls into that, right? Yes. Yeah. So we're looking at some of the best big men from Australia in NBA history. We talk about Luke Longley, Andrew Bogut's stint at the Bucks, then at the Warriors, and then Aaron Baines with his awesome season playing alongside Ricky Rubio at Phoenix. That really helped Aaron Baines, and he shot the three-point shot really well that year at Phoenix. But the one thing that Jock Landale has been able to do is he that sets himself apart from the other big men in that image that you see on the screen there, Robbie. Is his ability, his marksmanship, let's say, from the three-point line,
the floor, right?
Yeah, he's been shooting a tick over 39% from the three-point line this season, right? And all those guys you see, apart from Baines, none of them were, from Baines later in his career especially, right?
Well, something on that, Woods, as well. We talked about a guy like Rudy Gobert and rocking the jersey there. You can see the importance of someone like Jock Landale playing against, say, a Minnesota and Rudy Gobert, because he just brings and creates space for the team. He has to draw the big man, that basically has to defend him from the three-point line. It just opens up so much opportunity for players from his team to get to the basket, without having this massive guy coming over. So I think it's hugely important. It's something we've mentioned with the Hawks with that ascension of Onyeka Okongwu doing a similar sort of thing there. That's makes him the other team stretch their defense out, and so important in this modern NBA.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. And you look at all those big men on the screen over there. Aaron Baines in that season shot 35% from three, right? Which is useful, right? So for Jock Landale to be shooting 39% from three, you look at that graphic, 11 points, 6.2 rebounds, and playing 23 minutes a game. Man, he's worked so hard to get this opportunity, so we've got to be really happy for him.
And mate, we've both got those Spurs Jock Landale jerseys, and we've both got them, and it'd be nice to get a Memphis one. We just got to hope he stays there, because he's been bouncing around a little bit. It'd be hard to get one from each team now, but yeah, great to see him doing his thing in Memphis.
Yeah. And he's a great culture guy, right? A great locker room guy, and I think it's worth Memphis investing some time in some guys who are going to be positive for that locker room, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to some true or false, man. Okay. Now we talked about HoopsFest, right? And the NBL has teamed up with the WA government, WA tourism, all this stuff, right? I know it's your home state, Robbie, and I've even asked you today about, are you going to go watch HoopsFest in Perth one day? But my question to you is, true or false? The chances of HoopsFest leaving Perth anytime soon is unlikely.
I'd have to say true for that. I think they've done a good job in these first 2 years. And look, as they came out and said that the crowds were so much more up there, and I think that's going to be maybe something that does find that home there. I think maybe they need to play around with the actual timing of it. I think they like the fact that it's school holidays. You can perhaps get families there on board and things like that. But I think true for this one. I think they've found a good home there, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't continue.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'd like to see it in other states in the future, but leave it there for a few more years.
Maybe leave it there, but just, work around the pre-season, the blitz or whatever they call it these days, and keep spreading it around other states and let Perth have this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you. All right, next question. Anthony Black's dunk over 4 defenders was overrated.
Tough one. Well, I'll probably say the dunk maybe was overrated, right? So true for that. But the photo of the dunk was just incredible, right? So one of the best photos of a dunk, I'm sure everyone that's listening to this has seen it. If you haven't, do a Google image just to see the actual still photo, because that's a lot more impressive than the dunk. But either way, it was pretty crazy how it happened. But yeah, the actual dunk itself, maybe a little bit overrated.
Honestly, the food for thought is that you take a ball into traffic, you cock it back, and slam it on a defender. But this guy was in transition on the fast break, and 4 defenders from 4 different regions attacked the rim and tried to block his shot from behind. They nearly got there, and he dunked on him. Right? It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault, man. They all tried to get him, and he ended up punching the ticket. Right?
Yeah.
So shout out Anthony Black. I'm gonna say false. That was dope, man. That dunk was dope. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Okay, bro, this is one that you told me to put on the run sheet. The Charlotte Hornets make the play-in tournament. I'm gonna go true here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say true as well, Woods.
Oh my God.
I think they're playing some impressive ball. They've beaten some decent Western Conference teams lately. The Lakers, Denver, just to name a few there. They're getting strong contributions from. You'll see a game when 3 or 4 guys will have 20 points plus. We know how good Knippel's playing. You know,
Brandon Miller, man.
Yeah, Brandon Miller. When he's healthy, that's the only thing that's against him is his injury history. But a LaMelo Ball, you know, for what people think about him, he's putting up some huge numbers, hitting some crazy 3-point, you know, numbers in these games as well. So I think absolutely. I think some of these teams will be getting a little bit worried, like teams like our Hawks and that. You know, Milwaukee's catching them, Charlotte's not far behind, and you know that would be a pretty good success story for them if they were just to sneak into that play-in, right?
Yeah, totally, man. It's nice, man. People love basketball in the North Carolina and that Charlotte region, and the team's been, you know, waiting for success for a long time, and it's good to see them playing well, right?
Sure, yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Sam Mennenga will play an NBA game at some point.
This one feels a little bit more like a coin toss. Look, I'll probably say true. Using my DD Lazada theory, Wood. So my DD Lazada theory is if he can play NBA, then anyone can. So for those that have listened to me say that in the past, might get a bit of a chuckle there. But I'd say why not? He's certainly improved a lot in the last, you know, maybe 12 to 18 months there. So if he can continue that, it's all about opportunities, as we know. If you can get a decent summer league spot with a team that has the need for him, then why not?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say true just because he has that new big man prototype. Stretches the floor. Lefty as well, Woods. You know, they're unusual. Seems like that. And he's improving his post play. He's a above average defender and rebounder. So I don't see why not. He gets that opportunity. I'd like to see that. True, right? Yeah. And then finally, Andrew Andrews will be one and done in the NBL. Look, I'm going to say true. This kind of seems to be the MO for Kanzo, doesn't it, lately with imports? But saying that, I don't think it's through the luck that he's played there. I think he's been pretty impressive. I think probably better than most of us expected, including us two there. So I'd say it probably will be true. I don't know if another team's maybe going to take on, you know, an older sort of point guard. You know, maybe they want to spend a little bit more money and get someone maybe younger. I could be wrong there, but I'll probably say true. Maybe he's a one and done. Yeah, and I think even if he got the opportunity, right, he's been really, really critical about the way the game's officiated in this country. What, someone from Kansas has been critical about the refs? Who would have thought it? Yeah. He got hammered on the head, and like, he had many different situations where he was like, I was getting the free... He talks about how much he gets to the free throw line for the rest of his career compared to Australia. Yeah. So he's bringing up statistics to show. And the game is more physical here. They let more stuff go, right? It's Australia, of course, right? It's just how it is, man, right? So, okay, cool. Shall we do a classic back? Yeah, why not? All right, I got the 89-90. Ooh, nice. Hoops Series 2. Hoops 89-90. All right, that is. These are the silver-looking ones, are they? Or? No, the ones before that, I think. Oh, the white sort of ones. Yeah, I know the ones. Yeah, cool. These are old, man. 89. Let's chewing gum ones, or is this just after the? That's the 88. I think, first year where they stopped putting that disgusting chewing gum in those packets. Yeah. All right, the most underrated big man of the late 80s and early 90s from Cleveland. Got to be a big Brad Doherty, right? Brad Doherty. It's a nice looking card there, being guarded by some Bulls there. Yep, I like this set actually. Yeah. Being guarded by Scottie Pippen and Bill Cartwright there. Yep. Oh, the great man himself. What do I have to say? Michael Jordan? Or? No, your great man. Oh, Dominique. Yeah. Wow, you got Dominique? Awesome. Love that card. I know you've got that card. Hey, I've got that folder of Dominique cards. I was just flicking through that last night when I was bored and was looking at that card as well. So, that's a great score to get that one. No creases. Like, about 89, what's that? 11, 30... 36 years. 37 years, 37 years old and he's absolute perfect. That's crazy, isn't it? Might be graded a PSA 10. All right. Number 6, forward from the Rockets. Had a really, really good college career I think he went to St. John's, and he was there potentially with Chris Mullin for a little bit.
Buck Johnson? Or?
No, he played for Portland, San Antonio, New Jersey. Now he's a 6'8". He's from Harlem. Walter Berry.
Oh, Walter Berry, of course. Yeah, San Antonio is probably where I remember him the most. Yeah.
One of Magic Johnson's best friends. Had great years at Dallas, but this is his Detroit card.
Got to be some Mark Aguirre.
Mark Aguirre, man.
He could put the ball in the bucket, couldn't he?
Yep, for sure.
What do they look like at the back of those cards? You got like the photo and then some stats. And so that's what I miss. You get these cards now. Like I'm looking, I'll show you. Oh, this one's not too bad, but some of the cards I look at, there's nothing. And I like this one. You've got a bit of a bio, you've got stats, you've got height, weight, college. We love that stuff back in the day. That's how we learned the game, man.
Well, a guy that I haven't heard for a while. Number 7, guard from the Celtics in the 80s. Went to Utah, college at Utah with Bogut's alumni.
Bobby Hansen?
Kevin Upshaw.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I know he played with Miami a bit as well. Yeah, I wouldn't have got that one even with 10 clues.
Phoenix Suns, number 21. I can't tell you much about this guy, right? Averaged 2.6 points per game in the 88-89 season.
You can tell this is a Series 2 pack, Woods, with some of the random ones.
Michael Williams.
Oh, mate, Michael Williams. I love that guy. Yeah, I would have still got some more clues. So he was the guy that set that record for free throws when he was with Minnesota. So I think he hit maybe over 100 free throws. Also had some time with Indiana as well. So he was someone I actually collected his cards back in the day, Woods, believe it or not. Michael Williams. Yep, I sure did. Yeah.
All right, Bullets forward. Went to LSU. Big man. Number 34. Come on, man.
Stanley Roberts?
No. One of the top 6 men in NBA, despite starting only one game. Logged the 4th most minutes on the team, led bullets and rebounds and 3-point field goals.
Oh, not John Williams.
John Williams.
The hot plate himself, yeah. So for those that don't know, there was 2 John Williams. Cleveland had one that was Hot Rod, and then the one for Washington was Hot Plate because he just used to put on weight on a daily basis. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to give you 3 words, and you're going to know who this guy is. And if anyone knows anything about the history of the NBA, they will know this. Confidence, baby, confidence.
It's a bit of Rolando Blackman, right?
Rolando Blackman.
Shout out to our boy Lee Ellis I've been chatting with this week.
Blackman.
Yeah.
And Lee Ellis, shout out to you, man. Hey, shout out to Lee Ellis for his return to No Ducks. How good was that?
Well, just on that one episode, it was nice to hear him back on there, wasn't it? Yeah, we enjoyed that. So Rolando Blackman as well was a really solid player, wasn't he?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Don't talk about him enough. Guys like Sidney Moncrief, Rolando Blackman. It's almost like they get slept on all the time.
Even like you mentioned Mark Aguirre before. He's probably in that category. Adrian Dantley, these sort of guys, yeah.
The shortest man in NBA history.
I'm going to be Tyrone Muggsy Bogues. Look at that, he looks pretty short in that game. I was showing wife and daughter just some highlights of a game the other day, and they couldn't believe Muggsy Bogues. I'm like, yeah, he's 5'3", and they just couldn't believe how quick he was going up and down the court.
And that was the expansion franchise, 88, 89.
So he went from Washington over to Charlotte in that draft.
He was the captain of that team.
Would have been your boy Kelly Tripucka, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Kelly Tripucka for sure. My favorite big man of the 90s. Hold on.
Yeah.
My favorite big man of the 90s from Jamaica. I'm not talking about Queens, Jamaica. I'm talking about Jamaica. And really great to see Patrick at all the Knicks games lately. You know, loving it. You see everyone.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
All the guys
look at those knee pads there, Woods. Yeah, for sure. No, shout out to Pat Ewing, great player.
Spreewell, Allen Houston, Charlie Ward,
Gerald Wilkins was there.
Gerald Wilkins, they're all back and hanging out.
They do well bringing their ex-players back, don't they? Yeah. Well, maybe not so much Charles Oakley, though.
Right. Okay, this is another guy that gets slept on. All-Star. I pulled his card. I pulled his normal card, and now I'm pulling his All-Star card. The most underrated big man, probably in NBA. One of the most underrated big men in NBA history.
Bit of Brad Doherty again.
Why do we not talk about him enough?
I mean, he was that prototypical big guy that could pass the ball. That's something I always remember about him. We saw a bit with Luke Longley as well, but he was a really great passer for his size, and it's a shame that injuries kind of curtailed his career a bit, didn't they?
Yep, I know, but it's a shame we don't talk about him enough. All right, 1989 NBA All-Star Game, St. John's finest.
It's got to be the lefty Christopher Mullen.
Christopher Mullen.
Nice. Love those All-Star games cards back in the day. You get one of those in the pack and you'd just be so stoked to pull one of them, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Man, I thought this guy was going to coach Utah forever.
Is it Jerry Sloan?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mate, former, really good player with the Chicago Bulls, and man, he had one of the biggest tempers you'll ever see as a coach back in the day. But tell you something, it's Woods, they don't do coach cards anymore. You get these latest Panini sets and tops and that, they do not do coach cards. But yeah, he had a lot of time with Utah, but geez, you wouldn't want it to cross that guy, would you?
No, and I'm not going to kill off coaches again, but he is an RIP recently.
He is an RIP.
All right?
Yeah, okay, you're right with that one for once, yeah.
Okay, the greatest point guard, in your opinion, and I'm pretty close on that, but I know you have said it before. You think he's the greatest point guard of all time?
We're talking John Stockton, right?
Oh yeah, okay, no, okay.
Okay, Magic.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Who's your greatest point guard of all time, Stockton or Johnson? Because I know we've done an all-star 5 before, and you put Magic at number 1, right?
Would you throw me out of the room if I said Russell Westbrook? Look,
I mean, there's an argument for that, man.
When I hear point guard, I just think of that pure point guard. And for me, that's maybe John Stockton. I love his defense, but there's no doubt about it. Magic Johnson, just an amazing player. What a backwards. Magic Johnson, Dominic, and Pat Ewing.
Oh my
awesome.
God, and 2 Brad Doherty cards. And this guy was a 1989-90 expansion team Orlando Magic card. The guy went to LSU. He's a 22nd pick in the 85 draft. Played with Milwaukee and Seattle. Okay? And he was selected by the Orlando Magic in the 1999 expansion draft. Okay?
What number?
Number 35. Right. He's a righty.
I feel like I know this one. Otis.
His name is not Bert, but it's Jerry.
Jerry Reynolds, Iceman. Yeah, the Iceman, Jerry Reynolds. So they got that big little sticker saying expansion there, but he could put the ball in the basket, the Iceman,
yeah, man.
for sure.
I remember him. Okay. Cool, man. All right, so
that was fun. Enjoyed classic packs being back. That was fun.
And what a great, 89, 90, some old names. What a great pack.
Have we done that series before?
No,
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that was fun. Hopefully people enjoyed that. Yeah. Nice.
Okay. So why don't you take the audience out with where we can be found, all that
Absolutely, yeah. So please make sure to like, rate, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks for everyone's support. Really appreciate it. Look for some updates and everything on X, especially at Throwbacks Hoops. Woods will get maybe these jerseys up and maybe this lovely looking Tyson card that I talked about this week. And yeah, Patreon, as we mention each week, if anyone wants to pledge a couple of dollars to support the podcast, we'd really appreciate that.
Thanks, Robbie. It's been great, man. And we've got a big round. As we said, doubles. The NBA's heating up. We might see some moves, right?
Hopefully our Atlanta Hawks can start to win a few games. It's been a pretty downward stretch. So for everyone saying that things might have changed around when Trae Young got traded, not the case. It's almost going the other way. But look, we'll stick with them as we always do, right?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't want to talk about that.
Me neither. We had to bring it up at the 50-something minute, right?
Yeah, the trade deadline's coming up as well, so keep your eyes on what's going on in the NBA. Okay, any final thoughts?
No, like you said, so many NBL games. I mean, double headers. We've got games from basically Wednesday night, so by the time this comes out, the game would have been played all the way through to Monday. So enjoy the games. And Woods, we're not far away from NBL 1, just over a couple of months, so I can't wait for that all to start again across the country.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to that trip to Inner West with you.
100%, yeah.
All right, so from Robbie and me and the team at TBH, peace out till next week.